Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by Virginia College Savings Plan. Save for tomorrow's higher education expenses with Virginia 529's 4 flexible tax-advantaged college savings plans. Details at virginia529.com. And by the Greater Richmond Chamber Save Low Fares campaign. Richmond is in danger of becoming one of America's most expensive airports again. Flying AirTran, Southwest, and JetBlue supports airline competition. Details at savelowfares.com. And by Classic Catering, serving the Richmond area with full-service catering for over 35 years. Corporate and social events, luncheons, parties, and more. ClassicCateringVA.com or 553-0700.
Laying out with a headlong dive. Did he make that catch? It's Lawless. And Lawless with a miraculous catch and kicks and fires. Swing and a miss. He struck him on with a changeup. And the Squirrels are the champs in the West.
Welcome back inside another episode of Flying Squirrels Insider. Anthony Oppermann to be joined shortly by my broadcast partner, John Laaser. And I know the calendar doesn't say that it's officially June, but school is out, so we here on Flying Squirrels Insider are just going to deem this to be officially summer. Month of May already in the books, and the Eastern League announcing its Player of the Month for May wasn't who we thought. We'll talk about that with Lace coming up, as well as a couple of newcomers to the Flying Squirrels Club. Veteran guys who hopefully will help bolster the Flying Squirrels offense. Richmond has had a successful start to the season in terms of the pitching staff, and we'll go inside and find out maybe exactly why. Maybe not pitching coach Ross Grimsley, but perhaps Tom Vessella's pitching camp. And also, Lays has a sit-down conversation with one of the Giants' top prospects, outfielder Gary Brown. All of that coming up. And before we get to it, I want to announce a special promotion that we've got throughout the duration of this show now, as you can actually text to win Flying Squirrels merchandise. Just text FSI to 44544 throughout the course of the show. Again, FSI to 44544 for your chance to win exciting Flying Squirrels merchandise. A lot going on. Keep it tuned right here. Rolling along here on another episode of Flying Squirrels Insider. Anthony Oppermann joined now by my broadcast partner, John Laaser, as we take a look inside the Flying Squirrels. And Lace, first we want to begin with the Eastern League announcing the Player of the Month for May. Now, Chris Heston had a phenomenal month. He gave up just 1 earned run, went 3-0 in 5 starts. We thought he was a shoo-in to win this award, and I think everybody taken back by the fact that he wasn't.
Well, there have been bigger crimes committed in the world, Ops, but I sat here on the last episode of this show and said that if Chris Heston wasn't Eastern League Player of the Month in May, then there was something very flawed about the system. He wasn't named Eastern League Player of the Month, and I stand by that. That system is broken right now because, yes, Bryce Brentz had a solid month offensively, and maybe beyond that with the .388 average, but you just don't see the numbers in the production categories. Meanwhile, Chris Heston had a history book type month, 1 earned run over the month, and you could argue that that run probably shouldn't have been earned either as you look at a pass ball wild pitch situation in his final start of the month. So I do think it was robbery for Chris Heston. Heston shrugged it off as he normally does, and we'll move on as well. Ultimately, the goal getting to the big leagues, of course, for these guys. But if you're going to give away awards, you should do it in the right way, and it was without question the wrong winner in May.
And we certainly compared Chris Heston's month of May to Trevor May's month of April. Of course, May was the Player of the Month award winner for the month of April. And outside of the wins, Heston had May beat in every category. So it was a bit of a head-scratcher in that regard. But for Chris, as you mentioned, shrugging it off, just going about his business, and thus far here in the month of June, more of the same for Chris. We talked about it on the air as well, but you said he's just making it look so easy right now, and it just really doesn't seem like there is much of a challenge to the Eastern League that the Eastern League can give to Chris Heston right now.
One of his teammates said to me during his last start in New Hampshire that it looked like he was playing RBI baseball for the old Sega Genesis set on easy because he didn't have his best stuff against the Fisher Cats, and he still carved up New Hampshire as he was able to do again in his most recent start. And as you say, more of the same for Chris Heston, and it has been as far as the statistics are concerned and the fact that he's not making mistakes over the plate, keeping the ball down successfully, and getting the outs that he wants when he wants. But it has been different over his last few starts, his starts in June, in the fact that his mixture of pitches has been a little bit altered. And I think that's the developmental process for Chris Heston. He's trying to work more changeups into the mix now. He's trying to refine that breaking stuff, and he's trying to run balls in on hand. So it has been a different mix for Heston, but again, it's been a successful one. He makes it look easy at times. We'll talk to Gary Brown later about playing behind him and the tempo and rhythm that he works at in his starts. A hint, it's good.
Heston has given up 9 extra base hits thus far. All 9 of them have been doubles. He hadn't given up a triple or a home run through 13 starts this far here in the Eastern League. Certainly has been remarkable. Now, we talk a lot about Chris, and obviously he's deserving of that discussion because of the start to the year that he's had. But there's another guy who had a really good month of May for this Flying Squirrels starting rotation, and a guy who, after a bit of a rocky start to April, has really put some things together, and that's Craig Westcott.
We got a glimpse of Craig Westcott over the second half of 2010, and you saw some of the things that he's doing now to have success. He's got a lively sinker, and when he's in command of that pitch, he pitches a lot like Chris Heston in that he doesn't face a lot of adversity. And no, he hasn't gotten the headlines because when you've got a guy topping your staff that's leading all of minor league baseball in ERA, you're not going to get him. But I went back through the numbers, and I was baffled. You know, I watch every pitch for this team and call pretty much most of them, and Westcott strung together 6 consecutive quality starts. That's all-star type stuff, and I wouldn't be shocked if Westcott is named to that all-star team along with Chris Heston. He certainly is deserving, and really, he's been, outside of Heston, the most consistent hurler on the staff, who also has Mike Kickham.
Westcott led the California League last year in victories. He certainly put the San Jose Giants at a chance to win each and every time he took the hill last year. He's doing the same for the Flying Squirrels now throughout May and the beginning of June. And, you know, the pitching certainly has been pretty consistent for the Flying Squirrels day in and day out. Now, because of the injury bug and because of a lot of turnover earlier in the year, the offense is still trying to find its footing. A lot of young guys in the Flying Squirrels order: Gary Brown, Tommy Joseph, Ryan Cavan, guys experiencing the level for the first time, Eri Adrianza. And, you know, they were counting on guys like a Wes Hodges, for instance, to help protect them in the lineup. Unfortunately, Hodges getting hurt, spending some time away from the club. So the Giants going out and trying to help out this youthful lineup, signing a couple of veteran guys in Mark Minikazi and Russ Mitchell. What can you tell us about those two guys?
Well, I can tell you that in the ilk of Giants free agents that we've seen, at least in the 3 years of the Flying Squirrels' existence, they're the same as far as great personality guys who have a wealth of experience that they can offer. Mark Minikazi couldn't have a better attitude coming back, and, you know, he looks great in the batter's box right now. Really, his career derailed by injuries, but if not for that, he may have been through the Double-A level in the Giants system years ago. Meanwhile, Russ Mitchell just lost his way a bit. He was at the absolute pinnacle of the game, playing in Los Angeles for the Dodgers last year at the Major League level, and he got off track. And working with Ken Joyce for just a couple of days feels like he's back to that level where he can hit his way back to the big leagues. But with Russ Mitchell, he's a jokester. He likes to prank some of these guys. He's going to liven it up in the clubhouse, I think, and bring out the best in these younger guys, and that's really what it's all about.
Taking a glance at the standings, Lays, Flying Squirrels looking up at the Akron Arrows, still no changes really in the Western Division. Akron pacing the division, and Harrisburg right there in second place. But there is a little bit of turnover in the Eastern Division. The Trenton Thunder have really caught in fire, and Trenton now the new division leader out in the East.
I'm a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. There generally seems to be a sense of turmoil when it comes to the Trenton roster, and by extension, the New York Yankees organization. They move guys in and out frequently. If anyone is the epitome of it's all about the big leagues, it's the Yankees organization. And Trenton somehow, under the sage guidance of Tony Franklin, who is the nicest man in baseball, and that is not open for debate, has put that guiding hand on these guys, and they played well. We got a glimpse of them here, and we'll get another look at them in a few few days on the road up at Waterfront Park. They've got a quality team. I didn't feel as though they were the best team we'd seen in the Eastern Division, even though they've risen to that place. And I'm a bit surprised that the Reading Phillies have slid down as they have, even though they've lost some of the parts to that pitching staff, and Trevor May has slumped, as we've talked about. Over in the Western Division, more of the same from Akron. That pitching staff really leading the way, and they're picking up timely hits with some of the veteran guys like the Flying Squirrels, and we just talked about. They've got a number of those guys who, by the way, are all ex-Giants.
Well, certainly covered a lot of ground here on this segment, as we typically do, but you know, we talk about the success of the Flying Squirrels pitching staff, and we give a lot of credit to Ross Grimsley. Lays, I don't know if Grims deserves all of that credit. There may be another guy who's in the mix that we find out about.
Well, it turns out that he doesn't deserve any of the credit as it comes down to it. Madison Bumgarner, some of the other guys that he's been given credit for tutoring on their way to the big leagues. There was a guy behind that all along. There was a system behind it all along. We didn't even know it, and he was a pitcher with the Flying Squirrels, Tom Vessella. Look, this guy's from Burbank, California. He's got a bit of a theatric background, and John Gruden, interestingly, one of his idols. So he's going to dole out some love to Chris Heston coming back and some tough love to Chris Glore as we go behind the scenes at really what makes these pitchers great for the Flying Squirrels when we come back. I can't wait for this.
Tom Vessella's pitching camp coming up. This is going to be one of those moments here on Flying Squirrels Insider that you're going to want to go back on squirrelsbaseball.com and watch over and over a couple of times. I think this is going to be an instant YouTube hit. Might even go viral. Tom Vessella's pitching camp coming up.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by Virginia College Savings Plan. Save for tomorrow's higher education expenses with Virginia 529's 4 flexible tax-advantaged college savings plans. Details at virginia529.com. And by the Greater Richmond Chamber Save Low Fares campaign. Richmond is in danger of becoming one of America's most expensive airports again. Flying AirTran, Southwest, and JetBlue supports airline competition. Details at savelowfares.com. And by Classic Catering, serving the Richmond area with full-service catering for over 35 years. Corporate and social events, luncheons, parties, and more. ClassicCateringVA.com or 553-0700.
Today I'm going to be channeling my inner John Gruden. It's my hero right there. Got to ask yourself, what would John Gruden do in this situation? Going to break down tape. Going to check out some Esto Presto. It's going to be good. Chris Heston, want to welcome you to the VPCA. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Let me tell you something. Really excited to see you up here breaking down tape, checking out the mechanics and make you do what you do. Oh yeah, you do. Okay, cool. Chris Heston, let's break this down. Right away, I want to start by saying you look good in a uniform. Right now, you fill it out, you pass the eye test, everything I'm seeing right here, top notch. Okay, let's break this down. Oh, beautiful. Just beautiful. Nice swagger walking around. Oh, just painting the outside part of the plate. Just in the belt. You don't want any of this. You don't want any of Chris Heston. Hesto Presto, doing what he does. Loving it. Well, looks like we don't have any of you up there because all I'm seeing is Hesto Presto. That's all I really want to see. I don't even know who this joker is in the right seat. Oh, love it. Love it. Nice and slow, coming in. I mean, you got to look at this right here. He don't want any part of you. Of all the guys that you're going to be facing, every time you make him look stupid, he's going to go back to that dugout and tell him, we don't stand a chance today, boys. See, I don't like it. Do you think this is going to be the kind of stuff that's going to get you to the next level?
Well, I mean, I got him to strike out. I don't know. Get out, you get...
Don't be excited if you punch out a Punch and Judy hitter who doesn't stand a chance in that box against Hesto Presto anyway. Don't even worry about it. Okay, look at this right here. You're coming in with a weak front side. Your head's falling off. Your glove's doing something. I don't even know what it's doing. You're going to throw this ball in here. You don't stand a chance. I mean, you got lucky. You got lucky. Why don't you take a look at what Hesto Presto does? See? He feels his position. Oh, pimps it. Love it. You got a lot of confidence in you, don't you?
Yeah, try to have a little bit out there.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you're doing right here?
You know, just trying to throw a ball down in the zone and then hope it doesn't get hit back at me too hard. Luckily, it was a little dribbler. You know, you just get over there, you don't want to throw it away, so take it over there and just underhand it, get it to your first baseman.
Yeah, you don't need to waste any more energy than you got. Walk on up, flip it to him. Yeah, I'm going to take that out to the dugout. Look at you. Right there. That's a thing of beauty. Just a thing of beauty. Loving it. Okay, what do you got on this one?
Well, I got the bases loaded, you know, and I got to chop it back to the mound. I got to make a strong throw back to home, make sure we get the lead runner, no run score.
I mean, you got the out. That's a given. But let's take a look at what you're doing right here. See, your feet aren't planted. You just throw the ball. Taking it in slow motion.
Well, I mean, it's a bang-bang play. You don't really have a lot of time to plant your feet. You got to get the throw off on time because it's a fast runner on third base.
Hesto Presto makes that play, though, doesn't he? Any day of the week, Hesto Presto's making that play look easy. You, I don't know. You're not that fleet of foot. You don't have good balance out there. I mean, I could feel you coming, and ooh, I'm scared that ball's going to be thrown in the stands. Be like, watch out!
Strong throw. I don't know what else you want me to do.
I mean, look at Johnny. He's got to come up there and make a hell of a play just so he doesn't give up a run. I don't like it. I mean, he's excited just because he was surprised something happened where you didn't give up a bomb. Just giving up tanks into the outfield.
I didn't give up a run in this game.
Look, that's well and good, but Hesto Presto doesn't give up base runners. You're going ahead and concerned about giving up runs? Come on. You got to ask yourself, can you do what Hesto Presto does?
Well, I mean, he gave up one run in the month of May. I didn't give up any, so I don't really know. I think I did better than he did.
I like the confidence. Don't get cocky. There it is. Right here. Look at him. Oh, love the intensity. Love the intensity. Yeah, he's excited. Just struck him out. Yeah. Yeah, you did. What are you thinking about right here? Look at that. Look at that face. Look at you all fired up. You know the boys in the dugout are super excited to see you going out there. I'm going to own this game.
Oh yeah, you get fired up sometimes. I probably had some base runners on somewhere, so I was excited to get out of the inning. So yeah, you're going to show a little fire, get off the mound.
Yeah. Yeah, look at you. I got this. Confidence. Loving it. Love seeing the confidence in there. Chris Glore. Walking off. We'll see. Can't let your emotions get the best of you.
But you just said that. You just blew him up and told him how great he was for getting intense.
Hesto Presto is getting excited, showing some fire deep down. You're letting your emotions get the best of you and control what happens out there. Look at this. We'll break this down. Right here, you're thinking, oh, I just got lucky. Just got lucky. Thank God I didn't give up a tank over the open inning side. Okay? Walking off and then, oh, see, I don't like it. Don't like it at all.
Trying to provoke me.
Look, I'm trying to see if you get any emotion out there. Trying to see if you're going to let them get the best of you when you should be doing what Hesto Presto's been doing all year long.
I have been doing what he's been doing.
That's cute.
Say it again.
That's cute. I'll tell you right now. Oh, big man. You couldn't turn out the game trying to do something to me.
Big man.
Oh, it's the tenacity I love. That's what I'm talking about, Chris. You gotta take that out to the mound. Thanks for joining us here at the VPC.
And welcome back to Flying Squirrels Insider. I think we all now know where pitching greatness comes from. Hopefully Chris Glore will eventually forgive his teammate Tom Vessella for it today. We thank Chris for being a good sport. And remember, if you missed that segment or any of today's episode, you can catch this episode or any of the Flying Squirrels Insider episodes at squirrelsbaseball.com. And also remember, we're now giving away Flying Squirrels stuff. All you need to do is text FSI to 44544, and you can win any number of Flying Squirrels items courtesy of Flying Squirrels Insider. Joined on set now by the Giants' top prospect, Gary Brown. And first of all, Gary, thanks so much for coming here on a game day and taking time for us.
Yeah, no problem, Lace.
I introduced you there how pretty much everybody has since the latest rankings came out from Baseball America as the Giants' top prospect. There's a stigma that comes with that and some pressures too, I might imagine. How have you dealt with those pressures?
Yeah, I'm finding out about those. You know, it's like anything, you know, pressure and everything, and you know, I think the biggest pressure is coming from myself, and you know, I want to do well for, you know, my fans, or my friends back home, my family, and myself and my teammates, and you know, it's been a tough year so far, and I'm working on coming out of it, but it's only been you know, about half a year, so I've got the whole second half left.
Recent returns have been promising for you at the plate, but as you touched on, it's been a difficult year, I think, really, and correct me if I'm wrong, first time in your baseball career, either amateur or professional, that you've struggled. How have you dealt with that on top of the pressures you just mentioned?
No, it's not the first time I've struggled. I struggled my first summer in the Cape, and you know, it's maybe not for this long, but it's growing pains, and you know, I've had a lot of talks with family and, you know, friends back home and coaches, and you know, each time I'm frustrated as I'm talking to them, but I leave the conversation thinking, okay, it's going to be for the better, and you know, I still think it is, but it's always hard to see when you're in the struggles.
Ken Joyce, the Flying Squirrels hitting coach and a guy you're working with closely, told me that you came to him on the off day just a few days ago. Very positive day. What happened?
I just needed a day. I felt like where there was no games, there was no results involved, and just to take as many swings as I wanted, and you know, not worry about an offer or a strikeout or, you know, any pressure. It was just me in the cage, and I really haven't had a chance to do that, which is hard. One of the hard things during season is you don't get practice. You know, it's kind of on the fly. You got to practice in the game. So that was a very good day.
I read a lot about you. Do you read a lot about yourself?
Interesting question. No, I don't. I try to stay away from that stuff. Unhealthy.
The reason I ask that question is because people will often try to categorize you as a ball player, compare you to other major league players, and as you develop through the system, they do that quite frequently. If you were going to describe Gary Brown, and I'd like it if you referred to yourself in the third person while doing so,
I'll do that.
How would you describe yourself as a ball player?
You know, it's funny because I've always tried to like stay away from that because I think everybody plays different. I mean, you can liken some things, but I don't know if I really do play, if Gary Brown really does play.
There we go. That's not so hard.
I mean, I think I've got bits and pieces of things I do that are similar to other people, but I mean, I don't know. I've always said I like to play hard. Like Darren Erstad, I was an Angels fan growing up, but I mean, then again, he's a lefty, so you know, everyone likes to go left-handed, right-handed. So I mean, I really don't know. I'll leave that up to you.
Well, let's go back a little bit. Before you were the Giants' top prospect, you're a California kid. You went to Cal State Fullerton. I'm going to skip right past the part where you starred in the High School Musical. I know it wasn't a musical, it was a high school play, but you do have a theatric background, communications major at Cal State Fullerton. College World Series. I've talked to a lot of guys through the years, and they often describe it as really the pinnacle of their baseball playing career. Was that the case for you and the Titans?
Yeah, you know, it was definitely quite an experience. It was short-lived and a little disappointing. I think we were the favorites and we were the first ones out. But it was awesome, you know, to be treated like you were with that group of guys that you get so close to in college. There's nothing like it.
Gary Brown is our guest, the Giants' top prospect here in studio, and I would be remiss if I had you come all the way out here and spend your morning with us and not have you take us through what you do when you stand in the batter's box. I've never quite seen anything like it. I know to each guy you got to get comfortable. You and I talked about it and tried to put a description on it. Wiggles, hip swivels, gyrations, all those would apply. Where'd that come from, and what are you accomplishing while you're doing that?
Yeah, I have no idea. I do a lot of weird things that, you know, just come up and it feels good and I go with it. So if I have a normal batting stance, there's something wrong. But I don't know. It's just it's me trying to stay in rhythm, and the the little, white people can't dance. So that's my rhythm right there. That's my dancing.
Well, you're going to have to get used to these hard-hitting interviews. So we're going to close with this one, and then we're going to let you get out to the ballpark today. You've been coming up to Justin Bieber of late. You got to love the Biebs.
I got to love the Biebs.
Why that choice?
I don't know. It's just for fun, and it's so far it's working. So, boyfriend's it.
We're going to wrap it up on that. Gary Brown coming up to boyfriend from Justin Bieber. We're out of time on Flying Squirrels Insider. Remember, text FSI. You got a little time left to 445-44 and catch this episode again on squirrelsbaseball.com. Thanks to Tom Vessella, Chris Glore, Chris Heston, my broadcast partner Anthony Oppermann, this guy Gary Brown, and my personal stylist Brendan Porter. For everybody else here at Flying Squirrels Insider, we'll see you next time.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by Virginia College Savings Plan. Save for tomorrow's higher education expenses with Virginia 529's 4 flexible tax-advantaged college savings plans. Details at virginia529.com. And by the Greater Richmond Chamber Save Low Fares campaign. Richmond is in danger of becoming one of America's most expensive airports again. Flying AirTran, Southwest, and JetBlue supports airline competition. Details at savelowfares.com. And by Classic Catering, serving the Richmond area with full-service catering for over 35 years. Corporate and social events, luncheons, parties, and more. ClassicCateringVA.com or 553-0700.